George Formby. What an unlikely screen star. With his distinctive buck teeth, his Lancashire accent, and that ever-present ukulele, he was the antithesis of the dashing Hollywood leading man. Yet for a generation, he was a superstar, a musical comedian whose simple, wholesome charm made him one of Britain's most beloved and highest-paid entertainers. He wasn't a singer of great ballads or a master of complex comedy. He was a master of joy.
Climbing last week, a big mountain peak, I slipped down a rocking slope. I cried as I fell, I'm on my way to...
But the journey of this unassuming working-class lad from Wigan to the highest ranks of British entertainment is a fascinating one. This is the story of George Formby and how he strummed and grinned his way into the nation's heart. Born George Hoy Booth in Wigan, Lancashire, in 1904, young George grew up in the shadow of a truly colossal figure in British show business. His father, George Formby Senior, a hugely popular music hall comedian. Senior's act, which was based on a lovable, gormless character, was a tough act to follow. Young George was initially sent to an apprentice jockey and had no intention of following in his father's footsteps. But following his father's sudden death in 1921, he felt the weight of expectation. He began performing his father's act, but he was painfully shy and nervous, and audiences were not impressed. It was a crucial twist of fate when his future wife and manager, Beryl Ingham, insisted he abandon the act entirely and find his own unique style. She was a shrewd force who saw the true potential in the awkward young man. Under Beryl's guidance, George Formby underwent a complete transformation. He dropped his father's act and, more importantly, he found his voice and his instrument, the ukulele.
The cleaner you would be if you can see what I can see when I'm cleaning windows.
The ukulele was an accessible, cheerful instrument that perfectly suited his light, melodic voice and simple chord progressions.
But I'll never stop. I'll climb this blinking ladder till I get right to the top. The blushing bride, she looks divine. The bridegroom, he is doing fine. I'd rather have his job than mine when I'm cleaning windows.
He developed the now iconic persona of a shy, slightly clumsy, but endlessly optimistic young man. And he wrote songs that were a perfect blend of innocent charm and double entendre cheekiness.
Cleaning windows in my profession, I'll work hard, but I'll never stop. I'll climb this blinking ladder till I get right to the top. An old maid walks around the floor, she's so fed up one day I'm sure she'll drag me in and lock the door. When I'm cleaning windows,
songs like When I'm Cleaning Windows and Leaning on a Lamppost became instant hits, turning him from a struggling music hall performer into a rising star. His genuine boy-next-door appeal resonated with audiences who were tired of the pretense of Hollywood. George Formby's on-screen success was nothing short of a phenomenon. Starting in the mid-1930s, he starred in a string of hugely popular films that were often little more than a vehicle for his songs and charm. Films like Keep Your Seat, Please, and Trouble Brewing were box office smashes, and by the late 1930s, he was Britain's highest-paid entertainer. However, this success wasn't without its challenges. Critics and intellectuals often dismissed his work as lowbrow, simple, and uninspired. They didn't see the artistry in his simple songs or the complexity in his carefully crafted persona. This bothered George, but he was always more concerned with the joy he brought to his working-class audience. His films, despite the snobbery of critics, were a source of much-needed cheer in the lead-up to and during the Second World War. The Second World War cemented George Formby's status as a national hero. He He spent countless hours entertaining Allied troops across Europe and beyond, performing in war zones, on battleships, and in remote outposts. He played for soldiers in the heat of North Africa and for troops awaiting D-Day in Normandy. His ukulele and his cheerful, optimistic songs were a powerful source of morale for the troops, a slice of home and normalcy in the midst of chaos. He was a symbol of British resilience and working-class defiance, and he earned the unwavering love and respect of a nation for his bravery and his relentless dedication to keeping spirits high. After the war, George Formby's star began to fade, a familiar story for many of the era's great entertainers. The world of music and comedy was changing, and his innocent brand of humour was becoming less fashionable. He continued to perform on stage and in pantomime, but his health began to decline. Following Beryl's death in 1960, he was left heartbroken and adrift. He passed away in 1961, just a few months after Beryl. George Formby's legacy, however, is far from forgotten. His songs and films remain staples of British cinema and television, and he is remembered as a pioneering music hall artist who, with his humble ukulele, became a true cultural force. He was a beacon of hope and cheer who proved that sometimes the simplest of songs can bring the greatest of joy.
Oh, it ain't nobody's business what I do. One trick I tried to pull.